What's going on, do-it-yourselfers? I'm in the middle of remodeling this apartment, installing a brand new refrigerator. The problem is it's going to be in the corner right here. We got to walk down into the corner and walk around just to be able to open up your door right here. Somebody that might be elderly, handicapped, something like that, is going to have to come in here and go around all this. Plus you're going to lose all this space over here in the corner to put anything. Microwave stand, something like that might come in handy at some point in time. Today I'm going to show you how to flip the doors on your refrigerator. Let's get to it. To do this, you're not going to need many tools at all, so we're going to use the basics here today, something that you probably got lying around the house you can get relatively cheap. There's going to be a knife, a 5/16 micro ignition wrench, basic ratchet, and a 5/16 socket, or you can do it all with a wrench, impact driver, things like that. The essential thing you're going to want to go ahead and pick up though beforehand is brand new decals to put on your refrigerator. You see right here, this says Whirlpool. That's because there's a hole in behind that right there. Whenever you move your handles from here to over here, you're going to have to cover up that hole over here with the brand new decal. On top of that, you can clearly see there's these little plastic rivets right here that go in place. Most of the time whenever you pull them out, they're going to break and you're going to need to replace them, but that's where this handle right here is going to go. Now we'll start by taking your knife and sticking it underneath these little plastic rivets. It doesn't really matter if you got the replacement kit. You can cut these things off here, break them off of here, or if you want to try to save one, right there you go. Just pop it loose, get them off of here one way or another. If they don't come out, don't worry about it because we're just going to push them right down in. You got a cap right here over top of your handle. Usually you can simply stick your blade under there and pull it straight out. You want to keep this. Come up here to the top half of your handle, just barely stick your knife blade in there and twist it to the left and right, and it'll pop that off there, exposing the screw. Come down here and do the exact same thing to this one. And come over here to the freezer door. We're going to open it up. You look underneath it right here, you're going to see two Phillips number 2 screws, so you get yourself a screwdriver. Got to mention that at the beginning, you will need a screwdriver. And then you just go ahead and start taking these off here. Get those out. This will be nice and loose. Just kind of leave it hanging there. We're going to do the one up top last. We're going to do the same thing here. You got 2 screws on the top handle. We'll leave those, and we're going to go ahead and take apart the one here. We do that so that it minimizes something falling and breaking. I've seen people accidentally drop these things and step on them, and you don't want to do that and have to replace the handle too. Get that loose, go ahead and come up to the top here, do the same thing. Go ahead and start taking out these Phillips number 2s. Remove your handle here, set it up out of the way along with your screws. Go ahead and work on getting this handle off as well. I'm going to go ahead and pull this cap off, set it up top beside the other cap. Over here to the right hand side, you got another one of those plastic rivets right here. Same thing, you're going to want to pop it out. Go ahead and work on peeling this decal off here. You do want to go nice and slow on this. You don't want to scratch your refrigerator up or anything like that. A knife's usually a little bit better than a screwdriver. You know, if you got yourself a nice flat razor blade, it'll work as well. Just kind of go nice and slow and twist it back and forth until it pulls it off here. All that glue is on the back of these, so you really can't reuse these whenever you pull them off. It'll expose that hole right there. That's what we're looking for. Kind of wipe down, clean off all that excess glue right there. Now we'll go ahead and take our 1/4 inch drive ratchet, 5/16 socket. Start breaking these fasteners loose up top. I like having a Roto ratchet right here because it kind of works like a ratcheting screwdriver to a point, or a ratcheting nut driver. All you gotta do is get these things broke loose, raise it straight up and down. You can quickly run them off of there. When we get down to the very last one right here, I'm standing in front of the door, that way it won't fall. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out. Then you simply raise this up off here, set it off to the side. You see you got your little rubber bushing right there. Go ahead and take one of those caps that you pulled out, stick it right down inside there, cover it up. Now you're gonna have to raise it up off of this hinge right here and remove the upper door. If it's empty, you can easily do that with one hand. We'll expose this pivot bracket right here. And you got these 2 plastic caps that need to be removed as well. These are ones you will try not to damage so that you can reuse them. Sometimes a ratchet and socket will work perfectly fine to pull these things off of here. Other times it might be better using a wrench. At least so you can get a good enough grip to break them loose and start backing them off here. Once you back them off there away from that washer, you'll be able to put your ratchet on there and run them off pretty quick. I just simply set them up here because we're going to need those washers to put those caps back on. I'm going to come over here to this bracket. I'm going to go ahead and open up the door, and I'm going to put the ratchet on here, and I'm going to start loosening up this fastener, getting it loose. The one on the right side just needs to be loosened up enough to slide that bracket off here. As you can see, there's an opening right there, and you can't really get on it with a ratchet because of the angle, so you're definitely going to need a wrench for that. That's where having these little ignition wrenches, micro wrenches, or a regular 5/16 wrench will do the job that you need it to do. Back it open and move it a few times right here. That way it'll have enough clearance clearance to come out pretty easily. And then I'll finish running this off here. But as soon as I do and I pull it out from the threads, it's going to let this refrigerator door sag down. Now I'll simply remove that fastener, then I will pull it away from the refrigerator right here. And grab the pivot bracket and pull it apart, and the refrigerator door will sit down on the ground, and then we're ready to transfer everything over to the other side. Go ahead and raise the refrigerator door off the lower pivot. We're going to have to move that bracket as well to the other side. Removing this pivot, getting it up out of the way. Remove the two 5/16 fasteners, and then we will transfer the brackets over. Put the fasteners in the holes and then start running them into place. Whenever you pulled this off here, this one was on the right hand side, which is the outside of the refrigerator, so you're going to want to put it back in place the exact same way on the inside of the refrigerator. Now if you look at this, there's a flat side, and that's what goes on the bottom inside of your bracket. A nice round side is what goes up top and into the refrigerator door. We stick that in place, their washer right over top of it. You flip the refrigerator door over on its side, pull this one fastener out, and then you take it and you put this bracket on the bottom half of the other side of the refrigerator door down here. Make sure that pivot hole's lined up in place, then run your screw down inside the refrigerator door. Once this bracket's secure, you're ready to set the refrigerator door back down on top of the pivot. It's the time you can set it up here and then set it right over top of the stem. Let's come off the right hand side of the refrigerator. All we're going to be doing is flipping it over, and it needs to go on it this direction right here. And put that back fastener in place right there. Don't tighten it all the way down. Stick this pivot bracket right here. Raise your door up, slide it back there in place, and then start your other fastener. Tighten the one on the right all the way down, and then you can take your wrench, get in behind here, and tighten the one on the back side all the way down as well. Now your actual refrigerator door is nice and mounted in place the way it should be. Go ahead and come over here where these two screws are at, because they need to come out. That's where your handle is going to be going in place at. Once they are removed, simply move them back over here to the back side of the door and run them back in those holes. And shut our door, because I'm going to go ahead and take our handle here and install it while we're at it. Line up your holes on top, start the screw in the back, come down here in the bottom, and then go ahead and start that screw down here before you tighten up the ones up top and install the final screw. Go ahead and take your other insert, stick it down inside here, push it in place. Take our cover, come down here, push it straight up, lock it in place. We'll go ahead and take these fasteners, run them inside the holes right there. Then you take your two white caps and lock them into place. Always good to have them on hand in case you ever need those bolts in the future. Also mention, because I forgot to mention it earlier, make sure you put that shim back in place, because it will level up your door. Do the same thing with the freezer door that you did with the refrigerator door. Go ahead and take this bracket loose, transfer it over here to this side. Run it down in place, make sure the hole has clearance for your pivot. If you need to, take the top pivot bracket off the refrigerator and just mount it in place while you're running it down in there. You know it's nice and plumb on the inside. Now since we're going to be installing the actual handle on the freezer door from underneath, I like going ahead and installing it while it's on the floor. That way I have plenty of pressure I can put on that as I'm running the screws in. Plus the door handle helps you hold it up as you're installing the top pivot. Do it the exact same way you done the other one. Run your screw in, run the one on the bottom, run the one in again on the top. Take your cover here, slide it over, lock it in place. Now you can raise the freezer door up, slide it right over top of that pivot right there. Put it inside the hole. Once it's inside that hole right there, all you need to do is shut the freezer door. As you can see, it's shut here. It doesn't have anything up top holding it in place, but that's where we're going to install the bracket. It should be nice and level as you're preparing to install it. And these are designed to where whichever angle you use, the screw holes in the top are going to line up. So you just got to slide that top pivot in place and then match up your three holes right here. Run your fasteners down inside the new material. I have to apply a little bit of force to them, but once you get them lined up, if you got some basic hand tools, you force them down in there, they will catch thread and you can run them in nice and tight. Your doors have officially been flipped. They will open, they will close, they will do everything you need them to do. Much more convenient, saves you all kinds of room over here to put other things you need. All that's left to do is put our brand new materials right here on the refrigerator, cover up all these holes. You put your plastic rivets out here, line them up with the old holes. You simply push them down in there with your thumb. If you're not strong enough to push them down in there with your thumb, get them as far as you can, take yourself a screwdriver and just press down and they will lock into place. 3 of them is going to be the size you need for this bracket mount up here. 1 of them is going to be the size you need for the front. The smaller one of the bunch, come over here where your decal is going to go, slide it in, do the same thing over here, push it in place. Pull out your brand new Whirlpool decal here. We'll pull the plastic off and then mount it right over top of that hole. By the way, they do give you this nice little tool that you can put in your kit to help pull them things off there if you need to, but it doesn't work nearly as good as a knife. but it will help you prevent from scratching your refrigerator all to pieces. Simply pull that plastic cover off the back right here, line it up, make sure it's nice and level right where you want it at to cover this thing up. You install it onto your refrigerator. Simply press it in place with the plastic on the outside, smooth it down right here. There you go. How you flip the doors on a refrigerator. Hopefully this video helps you out. Like I said, I only make these videos for the average do-it-yourselfer out here who might be trying to do something, or maybe you didn't know that you could flip your refrigerator doors around. Well, now you do, and them little decal kits won't cost you very much. Pretty simple to pick up. I'll post some non-affiliated links down in the description box below. Thank each and every one of you who did tune in for this. Hopefully it helped you out. If it did, make sure you check out all these other social media platforms, because I do a wide variety of different trades work. Until next time, make sure you go out here, buy yourself some tools, learn yourself a trade, and do that blue collar hustle.